Hey, what's going on, guys? Physics here. First and foremost, before I get into the video, I just want to say, if you're watching this video on the day it comes out, happy Thanksgiving. Hope you had a good one. So, this is the Fireburst Flameblast Elementalist, episode 3. There's a decent amount of changes that I've gone through. Some very big gear upgrades. As I'm sure you've noticed, my raw HP has gone up a lot. We're now just farming Sirus and T16s ad nauseum. This is a Basilica. It's a tier 16. I'm just going to run through this map, and I'm not going to fight the map boss because Basilica map boss. However, at the end of the video, I will put the second Sirus fight on the character, so you guys can see that. And that was before like gear upgrades and stuff like that. But I'll let you guys see the second Sirus fight on A5 at the end of the video. Initial thoughts on Sirus. Some of the changes I made helped. A big thing is I still don't have a CB jewel, so I have to take 5 passives out of damage and cast speed for Sirus, which is very sad, very pain champ. So the gems on my Flameblast now are back to level 19. My Fireburst is slightly low damage though, because I'm effectively operating on a 5-link. As I did finally flip my added chaos support at the end of last night's stream. So my added chaos support is still quite low level. And then the rest of my Fireburst gems I think are around like level 17 at this point. But I did, as you can see here, I finally got a Frenzy Charge chest, and it's on an Astral Plate base, which is very cool. And do remember that 3 Frenzy Charges is actually more damage than a 21 Ball Flameblast. Though, I am working on that. I also did get a 20 quality Ball Flameblast from flipping gyms. I just gotta wait until I level that up to 20 to actually start using it, right? And if you're wondering what Flameblast does with quality, it just gives you 1% increased damage per quality. So 20 quality Flameblast is just 20% increased damage, which isn't bad. Why no max stages for Flameblast? Well, 2 reasons. If you're familiar with alternate quality skill gems, you'll know that there is a Flameblast alternate quality that gives what was it? Oh yeah, 2 additional stages. You get 0.1 additional stage per quality, and at 20 stages you'll have, or 20 quality, you'll have 2 additional stages. Now, one thing that's not listed, if you go and look at the list up on the wiki or anything, is that you actually get minus 1% cast speed for every quality. So for 2 additional stages, you get minus 20% cast speed, which is, yeah, that's a super not worth trade. So yeah, I'm just going with normal Flameblast. I did end up getting a alternate quality burning damage support. I got one of the lenses that changes a random gem, and that was the map, right? Yeah, okay, that was the map. So I got one of the gems that changes the quality. I threw it on my burning damage support. Why did I do that? Well, we'll go ahead and we'll get straight into the gems. So as you can see, gems here, 19. Oh, these are a little bit higher than I thought they were. Yeah, but my added chaos is still level 12, which is really bad, especially since it's a flat added damage to Fireburst. It's not super good that it's there. I did also get my Atlas set up. I unspec'd this sauna point because I'm not farming harvest that much at this point. I went for Thaumaturgical Awakening just to have the highest amount of chance to drop woke gems.
When I'm ready, and not before.
Because we're kind of just farming Conquerors ad nauseum at this point. The way that I have my Atlas set up at this point is I've been bouncing between Valdos and Lyra depending on what I need. Right now I just really want like Exalted Shards, Alterations, stuff like that. So I'm farming Valdos for like pure currency and stuff, like Divine Orbs and Chaos Orbs, especially Sextants. Lyra Arthane is better, so I just kind of balance between whatever I need. And then I have my 3 Watchstone and Haywark because I feel like running 4 Watchstone Haywark is kind of like unnecessarily rippy. The essences are obviously not any better. The gardens are obviously not any better. Gardens actually cap out at like high yellow maps, but, you know, I don't want to run maps that low because then I'm just fishing for gardens and I'm not getting XP or anything really. But yeah, I feel like 3 Watchstone is high enough for Haywork. So whenever I drop like a T12 or something, T13, then we go and we run Haywork for the chance at the garden. All right, so back into the gyms. Cruelty, 2020, well, 1920. Ignite Prolif, about to hit level 19. So all of these are flipped. They're at 20 quality. They're the same as they were before. In the boots, we have Determination, which I have been corrupting things to try to hit 21. Enlighten, which is ever so slightly nearing level 3. About 3/4 of the way. Malevolence, which I did flip. I'll talk about that in a second. And Defiance Banner, which I flipped. R effect, very good. Especially on, you know, banners. So why did I flip Malevolence? I was quite tired. So 2 days ago, I didn't stream. I played a little bit off stream. And that's when I flipped this gem. And for some reason, I don't know why I thought this, but at the time, it made sense to me. My brain was like, Malevolence is like the dot version of Pride. Thus, if I get AoE on it, I'll debuff enemies in a bigger range. Obviously, that's not how Malevolence works. It just buffs your damage. For some reason at the time, my brain was like, it debuffs enemies like Blasphemy or Pride. So I was like, oh, I definitely want the AoE. That would be great. So yeah, ignore the quality. You don't need to fucking flip your Malevolence. That's total floof on my part. So Arcanist Brand is flipped. Arcanist Brand gets activation frequency with quality, which is very good. So definitely get that. Flame Surge, 10% cast speed. I don't actually know if the cast speed is affected since it works with Arcanist Brand, but I figured flip it. Why not? It's not that big of a deal anyway. Then Wave of Conviction, I flipped this as well because, again, why not? It doesn't really change anything. I guess it helps a little bit with Leech on bosses, I suppose. Wave of Conviction does hit quite hard baseline. All right, and then Flame Dash, definitely flip this gem. That extra cooldown recovery rate is huge. Makes the skill feel way better. Onto the chest piece. Flame Blast, you know, is whatever. Ignite Prolif, nearing 2020. Swift Affliction. Since I manually quality'd this, because I had Harvest quality, I hit it with the Vol Orb. It hit level 21, which is slightly sad, and I'll get into that in a second. Unbound Ailments, almost halfway through 19. Divergent Burning Damage support, and Cruelty. So they're all 20 quality, about, you know, they're about halfway or higher towards level 20, aside from Unbound. So why Divergent Burning Damage support? Well, Burning Damage support with 20 quality gives 10% increased burn damage. So it's 10% increased damage. However, Divergent Burning Damage support has supported skills have 40% increased effective non-damaging ailments on enemies. Why is this good? Well, because we have Shaper of Storms, we always shock, right? And something else to note, since I'm taking Leech from Elemental Mastery, I don't have 40% increased effective non-damaging ailments on the tree, which is 100% just more damage. So the way this works is it only applies to ailments that are applied with whatever skill that it's linked to, right? Meaning Flame Blast. Well, Flame Blast hits really hard, so it's actually pretty easy to get really nice shocks out of it, right? So I lose 10% increased damage, but I gain 40% increased effective non-damaging ailments. Now, how effective is this for my shock, you might be wondering? Well, on tier 16 bosses, my shock went from 29 to 30% up to 37 to 39%. So the increase in shock massively outweighs the slight 10% increased burning damage for 2 reasons. So I plugged it into POB and I only needed shock to increase by 2% to be better, to be even or better than normal burning damage support quality. So if my shock went from 30 to 32, I would break even. If it went to from 30 to 33, I would have a damage gain. So the fact that it went from 29 to 30 to 37 to 39 is actually a massive damage gain over using normal burning damage support. And I get to double dip in this way too, because while only my Flame Blast will apply the higher shock, that higher shock increases the damage they take from all sources. meaning that my Fireburst is also benefiting from the increased shock effect. So Divergent Burning Damage support, huge winner. Very big that I got this. Very happy with it. Next up, why is Swift Affliction kind of sad? Well, I ran numbers through POB and I was debating, especially after someone said in the comments in one of the previous videos about cruelty. I realized that I wasn't getting max cruelty on Sirus specifically. So I did have to spec out of increased duration on the, so this is something I always play on Acrimony. If I couldn't upkeep cruelty to max stacks on endgame bosses, we would unspec the duration and go into increased effective cruelty. So I did humor the comment and try to go back to the drawing board and see if there's a way to not use cruelty. There is, if you use, Immolate. However, the hard part is Fireburst. Since Fireburst is already using added chaos and Immolate, there's nothing to really replace cruelty with that will help a lot with the damage aside from deadly ailments. And deadly ailments is a no-go for this build because we're utilizing leech. So if I put deadly ailments into Fireburst, I lose 80% of my leech from Fireburst. And since while mapping and stuff, obviously most of my leech is coming from that, that's just a hard no. It's not worth it. It's a 1% damage gain, assuming 40 stacks of cruelty, and it completely destroys leech. So that was a no-go. However, I did notice that I can leave cruelty in on Flameblast and take Swift Affliction out. Now, if I replace Swift Affliction with Immolate, two things happen. The overall damage, I lose 1 or 1.6% Ignite DPS. However, because I would be gaining 25% duration of my Ignites by removing Swift Affliction, my Vol Flameblast, my big hitters, would actually be dealing like an additional 2.5–3 million damage over the course of their duration, which is very important since a lot of what bossing is with this build is kind of just Vol Flameblast waiting room, right? And you'll be able to see this later in the Sirus Fight. So that's the first part of it. The second part is that if I have Immolate in, my hits will be a lot chunkier. And why is that good? Well, first off, my hits being a lot chunkier helps with cruelty, because cruelty is based off the amount of life that your hit takes. That's how the buff stacks. So using Immolate will make it easier to stack cruelty, and on top of that, it'll be better for leech. Higher hits, more leech. Though I don't really think it matters that much. I'm pretty sure I'm already like at leech cap with a 10 stack Flameblast because it does so much damage. But it's there. I can throw out a lower stage Flameblast and still hit max leech. So that's cool. But the biggest part is definitely the increased duration of the ailment, as well as if Flameblast is hitting harder, not only do I get stronger effective cruelty, but I should also get a stronger shock, which is just more damage across the board. And again, if I only gain like 1 to 2% shock, it should still at least break even with Swift Affliction support. So that's why hitting level 2120 Swift Affliction is kind of sad. Because this was the one gem that I did plan on replacing. The reason I hadn't replaced it at this point is because I just have all of my flipped Flameblast here. So these two are just, this is an Immolate I'm leveling for the swap. And I need to flip it for quality, get it back up to 2020. This Ignite Prolif is just something I had in my stash. It's 15 quality. So I'm just going to get it to level 20. Manually smash on the last 5% and then hit it with the Vol Orb and hope it's 2120. And then yeah, the other Flame Blaster here. So it only took me 2 Flame Blasts to hit a Vol Flame Blast, yeah, or the third one hit. So this will be a 2020 Vol Flame Blast. The last 3 Flame Blasts I'm saving for double corrupts to hopefully get a 2120 Vol Flame Blast, which would be very cool. All right, moving into the passive tree. So not a lot of changes here. I did end up taking out Retribution. Excuse me. Retribution, Precision, and the small life node. Why did I do that? Simply because I wanted a jewel socket here, and I pathed for Soul of Steel. This was mostly because my gear at the time, I needed a little bit more resistance, and I had the points after unspecking for Sirus, because every time that I fought Sirus, I have to unspec 5 points and go into Asylum for CB immune, because I still don't have a CB immune jewel, and it's a very pain champ. So what am I getting here? I get a massive amount of armor, 1% max res, and then from this jewel I have here, I get some dex, which is nice, fire dot multi, increased life. Very solid. Though I definitely am still going to want Retribution at the very least, and possibly Precision. So Precision's 10% cast speed, which is huge. I have to see how it feels without Precision with my Frenzy charges now, but I still need to get Retribution, because Retribution is just 15% increased damage and 5% cast speed. And considering this small node here is 5% increased life, it's not like I waste a travel node or anything. Like, all the stats are beneficial, so I feel like Retribution is a no-brainer here. Precision, a little bit more debatable, depending on how the stacks work out in an actual fight. Past that, things that I've debated with my last few points, you could go for more life and more armor. You could also go down for Sanctity, which is a really, really nice node. And if you really want to, you could probably just path straight all the way up to Heart of Flame. Now, I'm level 94, and this is 4 points. So, like, if you do this, like, reasonably, the absolute maximum you should probably plan a build around passive point-wise is going to be 97 or 98. Like, let's be real. That's, like, the absolute maximum. So, if I do take all of these points, you'd be dealing way more damage, but your Flameblasts are gonna feel kind of bad, to be honest. So yeah, it's kind of up in the air depending on what you want to do. I think 2 jewel sockets though is pretty mandatory here, because you just get so many like raw stats from jewel sockets. So like preferably you have one that's like really good, like this one, which is life, fire dot multi, and cast speed, all very, very good. And then you would have one something kind of like this that has like one beneficial stat and then CB immune, whether it's like fire dot multi and CB immune, or life and CB immune, or just one beneficial stat and CB immune is typically what I go for. Over the years, I have gotten some like insanely cracked jewels that have like 4 full beneficial stats. You get like life, attack speed, two-handed weapon damage, two-handed weapon attack speed or something, and then you also have CB immune. Those are crazy unethical and not like super realistic to plan around in SSF anyway. So that's the current tree. Moving on to the gear. So nothing has changed with the staff, nothing has changed with the boots, and nothing has changed with the rings or the amulet or the belt. In terms of the gloves, I did balance my resist a little bit better, so now I got the full craft for reduced effective shock and chill rather. So that puts me at including the Garukon, I'm actually at 115%. Yeah, because I have 15% from a jewel. If you don't know, you actually can be shocked past 100%. The instances in which this can happen are few and far between, but it doesn't hurt to be overcapped on it. I'm not going to complain, right? And then with chill, we're 90% reduced effective chill, which is going to put like any chill on you down to like somewhere between 0 to 2% in almost every case, so pretty negligible. So that's very cool there. And then the other thing, as you'll notice, we're using a Crown of the Inward Eye. So I finally, after killing Sirus 11 or 12 times this league, dropped a Crown of the Inward Eye. Now, I don't know about your guys' experience, but I used to drop Crown almost every time I killed Sirus. So having to kill him 11 or 12 times for the Crown is absolutely ridiculous. In my opinion, I've never had luck like this. And by that, I mean bad luck like this. However, it actually dropped 9%, so it dropped bottom rolled, and then 2 divines gave me max roll. So we have a max rolled Crown of the Inward Eye. Now, why am I using Crown of the Inward Eye? Well, simply because it gives a large amount of flat ES. It gives a absolutely massive amount of armor. And then we don't benefit that much from transfiguration of mana, transfiguration of soul. However, they will increase our on hit a decent chunk, as we have a somewhat, you know, we have like a decent amount of increased energy shield, and we have a decent amount of increased mana on the tree, which is just like flat spell damage. Why do we care about spell damage? Well, we don't really, but it does help with two things: shocking on like rares as you run through the map realistically, and leech. The higher the hit can be, the easier it will be to like maintain a max leech rate. Which is higher than normal because we have the Elder Amulet here. All right, now onto the big piece, the amazing piece, right? We have an Astral Plate with Veritania influence. This is I-85. So I basically just hit this with tons of essences, tons of harvest crafts, tons of scour alks, alt spamming. I just hit it with a bunch of stuff. I hit Frenzy Charge on hit 4 times. So it took me 4 times to hit good stats on this. So I actually got tier 3 life with, I can't remember what, but the prefixes were full. So I did have to use an annul on this. So I did annul it. So there was a chance for brick and it didn't. And then everything else was native except for the cold res. So I, funnily enough, after I got everything on there, I exalt slammed it and I hit tier 1 cold res. I'm not complaining. I'm pretty happy with that. So this is a really nice Astral Plate. If you're wondering how I got 4 off colors, I used the Varici crafting method. How do you use the Varici crafting method? Well, you just put something in your into your crafting bench and you'll craft it down to 2 sockets manually, and then you can force on whatever colors you want, and then you'll add a 3rd socket. If it hits the color you want, you go back to 2, add a 3rd, 2, 3, 2, 3, 2 till you get the color you want. Then you'll go 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3. And I did that all the way up to 4 and then 5. I didn't want to just go straight to 6, because if I go straight to 6 and the 5 ends up hitting green or something, it's not a super high chance, but if it happened, I'd be very sad and down an extra like 400 jewelers. So I decided not to do that. I just was safe, added on the 5th manually, and then added on the 6th manually. So that took care of all the colors. If you're curious as to how many fuses it took, you'll notice that I'm about 1,000 jewelers and about 200 or 300 fusings down. Overall, it took about, I don't know, yeah, about 1,000 jewelers and 200 or 300 fusings, but I can't remember the amount of fusings. I would assume around like 300, somewhere between 300 and 400 fusings, because a lot of the jewelers went towards the coloring, so I can't just do like a straight 1-to-1 on how many of the jewelers got turned into fusings. But I did hit it with like the 200 fusings I had first, and it didn't hit, and then I just bought like another like 200 or so, and it hit about halfway through. So roughly like 300 to 350. So I got pretty good odds on that 6-link. However, I did quality it to 28% before doing this, which I highly recommend. If you don't know how to quality armor to 28%, all you have to do is put Hillock into fortification and get him to level 3, then run the hideout. I'll have a crafting bench that will change the quality of one of your pieces of equipment to 28%. Only armor though. If you want to do it for a weapon to get more damage on like a slammer, then you have to do it in transportation. But I highly recommend that if you're going for 6 links, manual 6 links in SSF. It's very helpful. It drastically cuts down on the amount of fusings you need. It has been confirmed by GGG at this point that the quality of your armor actually does increase the chance of linking it. So that's the gear. At this point, I guess I'll go into plans for the character. So, I dropped a really nice pair of gloves. I don't know where they're at. Okay, well, 2 things. I have these Drox gloves that have max frenzy charges on them, and they're an armor base. So I did want to use these because 1 frenzy charge is better than 18% increased dot damage. However, I do have hunter gloves somewhere on an armor base. I don't want to go through all my tabs, but I have hunter gloves somewhere. So today's stream coming up here is going to be trying to craft the Drox gloves and the hunter gloves, and at the same time, and then whichever one hits first I'll start using, but I still want to craft them. because I'm pretty sure you can get fire dot multi on hunter gloves. I'm pretty sure it's hunter gloves. Guess we can check real quick, can't we? I want to make sure I'm not misspeaking because I didn't check this beforehand. Yeah, so you can get fire dot multi up to 20% if eye level 80, which is huge. Obviously, 20% fire dot multi is better than both a frenzy charge and 18% increased damage. So that would be the end goal. You can also, worth noting, you can also get increased duration of ailments as a prefix. So on a perfect pair of gloves, you could get the increased duration as well. I don't know where I put the hunter gloves. It's not a huge deal though. Oh, is this it? Yeah, eye level 85 Vol gauntlets. So they're a decent base. I have another pair of hunter gloves somewhere else as well. But I don't really want to go through all my tabs. There's no point. Either way, I have both bases. I'm just going to throw both on for crafting, and that'll be the next goal. That'll be a really big damage increase for the build. It'll also give me a lot more armor. If you're curious what my armor is right now, standard unbuffed, 17k. With roomies up, 22k. And then do keep in mind that from the staff mastery, we actually get, or not the mastery, but the Steelwood Stance Notable, we get an additional 800 armor anytime we block. And surprise, surprise, we block a lot in a block build. So the 800 armor is basically always up, which puts us at about like 30 something K armor. I don't remember exactly, but I remember it being quite high, around 30k, maybe a little bit higher, maybe a little bit less. But that's also thanks to the inward eye, which is another 1050 armor on top of that, which almost matches my chest piece, 6 points off actually. So it's like having a second chest piece. It's very nice. We have a ton of armor. Crown of Inward Eye got honestly massively buffed this league. It was already an insanely good unique item, but now with the value of armor being so much higher than it was in the past, this is such like, it's a such better helmet than it was in the past, and it was already so good. So that's really cool. So my big goal for today is to just craft the gloves, keep farming Sirus. We're about to be halfway towards spawning our next Sirus. Just keep farming for woke orbs, keep getting XP, level up my, finish leveling up my gems, flip the immolate, you know, just start, you know, tweaking like the small things, getting the damage in the smaller areas to try to like, because I already like clear T16s no problem. This is simply like all of the changes at this point of the build are simply to make like end game bossing comfier. It's to just give us as much damage as we can get for end game bossing. But yeah, still having a blast with the build, still super fun. Our Mog changed. It's very cool. We're now a scythe wielding witch. I actually love the way she runs with the scythe too. It looks a lot better than the duelist and stuff. With that said, I think this will be the end of the video. Do remember that I'm going to leave you guys with the Sirus fight. Sorry, terrible at editing. I don't have a lot of practice, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw it up on the screen. I'm going to record it, let you guys view it that way. And since I have an audio splitter on my stream, I will I'll just play like the OST for Sirus over the fight, because it'll have ripped the maybe it wouldn't have. I'm not sure. I don't know how my audio splitter set up. Maybe it didn't rip out the music. Anyway, thanks a bunch, you guys, for watching. If you liked the video, make sure you thumbs up. If you didn't like it, feel free to thumbs down and tell me what I can do better. If you like me, maybe consider subbing. And friendly reminder that I will be live on Twitch as soon as you see this up. So if you're not doing anything on Thanksgiving or whatever, or if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving because there are other countries in the world, feel free to drop by and say hello, because we're going to be probably doing a lot of bossing today. So that should be exciting. Potential rips and whatnot. Anywho, thanks a bunch, you guys, for watching. I'm going to go no cam so you can see past Fizz and record the fight. Bye, guys. Oh, yeah, I got to turn off Herald of Thunder. I should have grabbed Clarity. Fuck me, I forgot to. That's the one thing I forgot to do. Whatever. Oh, I just won't have mana regen. That's fine. Done it before without it.
resist?
What's this? A real challenge? You've finally caught my attention.
I'm not going to use Ball Flameblast on this stage. No need. Oh, I got a Yo. Big one. Right as I phase him, I get a Yo. What's up, guys? Chill with me for a second. Oh, she ran right into the storm. That was Quinn. Right there, that was literally Quinn. She just ran right into the storm and died. Okay.
When I'm ready.
The others found strength in their projections. They became reliant on them. I'm not so foolish. Die.
Yes. Go!
Be silent. Die. Die.
Alright, let's first of all Flameblast of the fight.
Be silent.
John, there's only horror. Why run? What's the point?
I guess I'll go up.
Pointless. Obliteration.
Whoa. Okay, that was really weird.
Rain of stars. Why resist?
Did you guys see that? I like legit teleported.
Rain of stars.
Like
That was weird as fuck.
interesting enough to warrant all this pain.
Oh, you're a bitch, Sirus.
Die.
Beyond, there's only horror.
Die.
Go on, do it. I know you want to.
Die.
Beyond, there's only horror.
Die.
Guess wrong. It's on me. I'm gonna save this wall flame blast. Just kill him with Fireburst
Your
here.
lives are meaningless. Be utterly annihilated. Rain of stars. Glorious flames. Why resist?
The edge of death, my heart races. I am alive.
Bro, I held it that whole time.
When I'm ready, and not before.
Beyond everlasting fire.
You will long for
Non-existence.
It's like awkward. I gotta wait for him to die beam before I can like comfortably channel.
I need more mana.
I have seen beyond everlasting fire.
Dude, he legit trolled. He just TP'd like 5 times. What the fuck?
Beyond, there is only horror.
Oh, that was the easiest.
Everlasting fire. Is an illusion. Die.
Oops.
Is doomed.
Turned on Arrow of Thunder accidentally.
Everlasting fire.
Almost got Ball Flameblast, which hopefully will finish the fight.
Is an illusion. Die.
There we go. Got it. I'll wait for the next mechanic before popping it. This should be it.
Is doomed. Is an illusion. Everlasting fire.
I'm getting memed on. I mean, at least we finally got the helmet.